We're live from the capital, Gaborone. This is BTV News at 9 o'clock. I am Khomotso Mapani. Let's take a look at the headlines. SADC region lagged behind in promotion of regional integration. Siliwe Pigwe Citrus Farm to have its first ever harvest next month. And in sports, Botswana Athletics Association said not to be able to send all qualified athletes to the All Africa Games. Interpreting in sign language is Amantle Babili. Good evening. The Executive Secretary of SADC, Mr. Elias Mahosi, says reports published by the World Bank and the African Development Bank indicate that the SADC region has a lot more to do in promoting regional integration through road, rail and air link throughout the 16 member states. Speaking in an interview at the AU Heads of State and Government Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, over the weekend, Mr. Mahosi said SADC should prioritize regional integration in order to contribute towards African aspirations of becoming a prosperous continent by 2063. Bethany Mando has more.
As SADC African leaders convene in Ethiopia for the annual AU Summit, SADC as a regional building block to deliver the Continental Agenda 2063, which seeks for a united Africa anchored on equal access to education and health, as well as becoming a global player and a vibrant economy. SADC has a seat in this summit to update on the progress made by their members. But for SADC, a lot still needs to be done on regional integration, on infrastructure and development.
Southern African region is lagging behind on infrastructure development. Even on our own scorecards, we are sitting at around less than 5, around 4.8%. We have not really fully integrated. When you look at roads, we don't have roads that link all the 16 countries. And it's something that I believe is a priority for me and for the heads of state to actually focus on what we call smart corridors, where you put everything across those corridors. We've got power outages, as you have come to appreciate, particularly in the southern part, South Africa to be specific. Now, there are other countries who will be surprised that are actually carrying excess capacity of power, but because we are not connected, we are not networked, it's not easy to pick that excess capacity from those countries. Angola, Mozambique and Malawi, they should be feeding into the Southern African power pool. So we are now working on projects that are actually bringing this together so that the likes of South Africa and some of Botswana and other areas, they don't experience this load shedding that we are seeing. So those are the things that we need to do. Water. We want to come up with big water projects like in DRC. There's an Inga dam there that can feed the entire continent with water. They can also do clean energy of hydropower.
Despite a slow progress, Mr. Mahosi shared that other sectors are progressing well.
So we must make sure that we preserve and protect a peace. That's one side. The other is that we must develop, and that's what I'm talking about Agenda 2063. Now, there are things that have already been started, like your Africa Continental Free Trade Area. It's one step that is trying to help the continent to trade with itself, so that we are no longer just focusing on the markets outside of the continent. The likes of Botswana, who are selling beef and diamonds, instead of going to Europe and Americas and the like, there is a market, first in the SADC region of the 16 countries, then there's a broader market of around 1.4 billion in the entire continent. So this is where there's an opportunity for all the countries, for all the industries in our respective 55 countries to actually trade within and intra-trade within Africa.
The SADC boss says for Africa to achieve the aspirations of Agenda 2063, the responsibility lies with RECs such as SADC, ECOWAS, COMESA and others to encourage their member states to implement policies and programs designed to deliver the Africa we want. Bethany Mando, BTV News, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
The Vice President, Mr. Slamba Tsohwane, arrived this evening from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where he had attended the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the African Union on behalf of President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi. While at the summit, Mr. Tsohwane delivered Botswana's statement affirming the country's commitment to work with other member states on issues of development, especially in delivering Agenda 2063. Prior to his departure from Ethiopia this morning, Mr. Tsohwane took time to tour the Botswana New Chancery, building that comprises of the office space and residential apartments for the Botswana Embassy. The Vice President was accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Lemogang Kwape, the Minister of Education and Skills Development, Dr. Douglas Lesholatebe, as well as Minister of Trade and Industry, Mr. Musi Khafela, and senior government officials. This year's theme was Educate an African Fit for the 21st Century, building resilient education systems for increased access to inclusive, lifelong, quality and relevant learning in Africa. Botswana also secured a seat into the Peace and Security Council of the AU for a period of 2 years. In other news, Water Utilities Corporation notes with concern continued vandalism of its infrastructure across the country. The past week alone, the corporation registered 2 major incidents, one of which left residents of Tamaga, Moshopa and Kanye without water. The corporation also registered an act of vandalism on a major pipeline that transmits water from Kugere into Maung area over the weekend. These acts of vandalism are said to be of concern following major efforts by the government to attain access to water for all through infrastructure development. The corporation vows to tighten measures to protect water infrastructure in order to guarantee access to water for every citizen. The first ever harvest of the Silibepikwe citrus farm is expected on March the 21st. The citrus farm project manager says they are pleased with the quality of the produce, some of which is destined for foreign markets. The Assistant Minister of Trade and Industry, Ms. Beauty Manake, says this milestone is a result of concerted efforts by the government since 2018 to build a diversified export-led economy. Mamusi Siska and Gifilwe Mokautsani.
Botswana will enter the global citrus market next month when the Silibepikwe citrus farmers make their first harvest since they first started tilling the land in 2020.
It's a new thing for our labor force as well, harvesting the citrus fruit. So you know we are on edge, and we know we've got a lot on our shoulders to keep up with and going forward. So, but we're excited and the harvest seems good. So we're going to get for the first year, it's a good harvest expected, and yeah, we're excited on that.
This is a joint venture project between Madinare Multi-Purpose Cooperative Society, which has leased the farm to the investor. This 300 million Bula investment in the country was concluded in 2019 following several investor court missions in South Africa, one of which was led by President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi.
Dr. Masisi a tsena mo pusong ka ngwaga 2018. I'm going to lead an export-led economy. Ke go tsamaisa puso e leng gore ke tabe ke kgona gore ke kapakabanye ka go tsaya dithoto ke di isa go mahatsheng a sele ke lebeletse gore nna palo ya me gongwe ya batho e nyenyane le mmarakame o monyenyane a tsa ka dilo tse di harologaneng a signa yone the FCTA e leng gore ne itse re le ba ka re ntse re sa kgone gore re sign re le lehatshe a ra gore a bulele jalo gore re kgone gore yaanong re rekise dithoto tsa rona go mahatsheng a Africa le ka mahatsheng mothe ka bophara.
This historic joint venture between the community and the investor will transform the special economic zone of Silibepikwe, which historically was reliant on mining.
For rona ke rente mebile go ka tlhalosa gape gore rena le khanya 10% shares gore ba re ofarile gore ba ka renela kana ra reka 10% mo go bone ya di shares ba ra belela gore ka bo 26-27 ha se tsena mbale into full capacity ya production ya bone ba dumela gore ba go hire batho ba le 1500.
According to the U.S. Department of Foreign Agricultural Service, global orange production for 2022-2023 was estimated at 47.5 million metric tons, with the leading producers being Brazil, accounting for 16.5 million metric tons, and in Africa, Egypt led the way with 3.6 million metric tons. The Silibe Pikwe citrus farm is expected to play in this league of exporting nations.
We are producing citrus mainly for exporting to the Northern Hemisphere, and we would like other parties to come with initiatives on how they see and what they think, how they can add value to this, to the fruit products going out of the farm. So we're excited to see what initiatives people are coming up with.
The 2024-2025 national budget will largely be financed by tax remittances and mining revenue. But with new commodities such as the citrus project, the economy is beginning to have mixed revenue streams.
ke gone jaaka yaanong nna re ke tla le bulela gore le kgone gore le nne le itsholelo e leng gore e ka ba ka bangwa ka dithoto tse di harologaneng mme re itumela thata gore o ile a simolola ka yone ya temothuo.
The Harvest Day is expected on March 21st.
The Assistant Minister of Education and Skills Development, Ms. Naniki Makwinja, who's also a Member of Parliament for Lentsweletau Mopani, has encouraged teachers from the schools in her constituency to make informed decisions when dealing with educational issues. She said this during a mindset change workshop organized for teachers in Kopong recently. Lizzie Class.
According to the Assistant Minister of Education and Skills Development, Ms. Naniki Makwinja, should teachers fully embrace the mindset change concept, they could perform better and deliver better grades in schools. Teachers were urged to familiarize themselves with this initiative to see positive strides being made towards a knowledge-based economy.
As much as we want to take this country from here to there, and that's what this mindset change is.
How do I ensure I will deliver on the curriculum despite the challenges still in there? Chief Education Officer, how do I ensure I get the quality still in the la haola the barriers happen le gagago go na the hurdles ona le di correlates or no, I recognize them, but I need and eventually you're going to do it because you have the power. But if you have the power within limits, or a lot worry kinale di barrier kitse a gona se ka se dirang
go bua le tshaba ya Botswana gore a re changeng dikakanyo a re changeng maikutlo a re changeng boitshwaro. The moment you start thinking of yourself as somebody who matters, o khona go itebogela go tsaya karolo mo go ageng tshaba ya gago. But you are not going to do that o sa bone bo mosola jwa gago.
The teachers see this as a welcome development, promising to incorporate a mindset change approach to teaching for the better academic results.
Ha ke tsena ko maduong e teacher in the classroom ra go lebelela curriculum delivery gore tota despite the challenges we may be faced with rona ra go dira eng gore re go tla ka madu a ra eletsang gongwe madu a tota a eletswang ke setšhaba.
A re pushe seemo go ithelela ngwana ya ga a goroga go go siameng teng ke se ka nna le labels nyana mo go ene ke se ka mo akanyetsa gore ha o bana a paletswe ke gore a re go padile ka gore o lebega jana go apala ya nona ke setse ke togetse ka gore puso le neng ke me kopela gore a re ha e nne le sena ke paletswe ke togetse a se ka ra nna le moa wa goreng ra itlhoboga re helela hela ha.
Changing from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset will see students performing better in schools, ultimately leading to better results. Lizzie Class, BTV News, Kopong.
The City of Francistown Mayor, Mr. Godisang Radisego, says through the Transitional Development Plan, many development projects around the city are underway. He said this when addressing residents of Gerald Estate during a Khotla meeting in Francistown. Faith Ditete.
The new bus rank, renovation of the Nyangagwe Referral Hospital, the ongoing Old Depot expansion, as well as the Kapamadi Interlink are some of the developments earmarked to be carried out through the Transitional National Development Plan. These developments are imagined to enhance the outlook of the city, over and above advance its economy as a special economic zone area.
Kampa ya lona e tshwantse ya hwe ya SSG, Special Support Group ya Spodis. Se sa haperile. Ya no ke ngwadi o tsele gore ne tsa bewa monwana kana tsa dumalana gore tse tsone di tshwantse di re go bona gore re di tsweledisa ka tsela e ntseng jang. Go agwa ga kampa yone o le matlo a bone badiredi ba tlang ba le ko a ka tshwarang 150 kilo tse di mo thulaganyo tse tshwantse di agwe mo kgaolong ya lona ya Gerald Estate. Renke ya rona e mo toropo ya rona Francistown ra itse gore ntse ya re itse gore go khotlagana ka tsela e ntseng jang. Ya no re tle re tshogele gore renke e le ha mollo ka tlhago ga hale ha gona space sa go tswang hale. Ya no ke ngwadi o tsele gore ka supa gore re ra atlega puso ya raere re batla go llela madi a rileng gore le go tsama le go tsaya megopolo le go seka go bona gore renke ya lona le ka ya tolosa ka tsela e ntseng jang.
Residents have called on for fast track of the prepaid water system, also highlighting their concerns regarding littering and poor stormwater drainage in their area.
Dibili tsa water di a tura, di a re bola, ga re bereke. Ga re bereke botsa dijwane. Ya no, go ne go kopile gore le dira jang ka gore re itwelelle jaaka go dirwa ko bo telecoms gone mo ga prepaid. Ga ke itse le ha ka ha o fa ayu ka lenaneo leo.
Go bo go nna le tsa di stormwater drainage. Le tsone ba gaetsong ba re ba maleba le tsone. Aba di ho hele ba di bone ga gore ga wa siama. Ntse dingwe ga re khone go ja ke lebaka la tsone di drain tse dingwe di a pomponya ga meleng gore a re khone se tseanong gore re ikgolla ga gore re nna ho.
Young people are encouraged to take advantage of the free cooking courses offered in the local Francistown College of Technical and Vocational Education. Faithy DTT BTV News, Francistown.
The Northeast District Commissioner, Ms. Sabokwani Dikhope, has urged Tatiland Board employees to take advantage of available opportunities for research, continued education and self-development to sharpen their skills. Speaking at the Tatiland Board Awards ceremony, Ms. Dikhope added that research will help officers keep abreast with new developments. Abigail Madorobo.
Ms. Dikhope highlighted that most skilled and disciplined individuals are avid researchers, and constantly being in tune of recent trends will help employees perform better.
As employees, you need some kind of motivation for even more, perform even better than yesterday.
Tatiland Board employees were urged to live the mission and values of the organization as they translate into service delivery.
Asuguru moto hat le modlen board go ngwat le go pala hasi ga ga se gore a ba tswa tshwere le hasi ga nke gore o a una tshwere sente a una buiswa sente a mogelesega a ipona a mogelesegile mo boding ya ga bone hela a thusiwa ka lerato le ra tswa ha ba re me bodi ke ba thalogantse gore ke mpa sampale hasi me go ne go buisana sente go na le neelano go na le kagiso ke tsone dilo tse leng gore tota thata ra dieletsa go di bona ha re ntse re ntsha ditirelo tsa rona.
The best employee of the year, Ms. Jalin Chizani, says she managed to scoop this award through teamwork and having a passion for her job.
Ke leboga ba ke berekang le bone cause neelano e ba ineelang ke yone dirileng gore be ke kgonne se ke leng sone gompieno. Me bile ke itumetse hela thata me bile nka tswella ke ra ba kauleng go nte kwa mo maphateng ka go harologana ke re there's nothing say long gore se ka palla ope mongwe le mongwe wa khona as long as you are willing to do.
On other issues, it was revealed that the land board faces challenges of village boundaries which causes delay in plot allocation in some areas. Abigail Madorobo, BTV News, Masunga.
Young people have been encouraged to resist short-term temptations while they pursue their long-term goals. This was said by the newly appointed president for Juna Chamber International, Ms. Kgaleletsang Sefakwe. During the induction ceremony on Saturday, she said young people should stand resilient against temptations and bad acts, especially when unemployed, as that can jeopardize the prospects of their long-term future goals. Terry Makhoeng.
The Junior Chamber International, originally from the United States of America, was established in this country more than 30 years ago, and it is big on youth empowerment, entrepreneurship and self-development. Comprising mostly of young people, they have been advised not to allow issues of unemployment discourage them, but rather volunteer their services through the organization's assistance, a move which could eventually open doors of opportunities for them.
In this process of growth, as you grow, you will come across opportunities that will lead you to your state of superiority. This organization, JCI, that I take great pride in, offers you with the 4 key areas of opportunities, being business entrepreneurship, individual development, community action, and lastly, international cooperation.
The members of the organization were encouraged to have their roles clearly defined, as that could pave their way to greatness in the organization and in all the community work they embark on.
I believe that 2024 is a blessed year because, wow, the leadership that is coming in this year, I wouldn't say it was handpicked, but somehow there was magic happening. Starting with the local president, even the board at large, energetic, very intelligent, very versatile. I really love that energy. There's a lot happening, guys, and you have ideas, and sometimes people don't really get what you're saying. Not because you're not saying it right, only because they're not really buying into your idea. What I can say is that no matter what happens, I'll be there.
Resilience and tenacity are great qualities to adopt and can take one far regardless of their economic background.
Growth is more than just a metric of economic wealth. It reflects our joint efforts to nurture talent, stimulate innovation, and develop inclusive societies. It is about providing chances for all people, regardless of background or circumstance, and empowering them to achieve their greatest potential.
The incumbent and other members who had done well in different areas of the organization were rewarded with certificates for their work. Terry Makhoeng, BTV News, Gaborone.
The chief dietitian in the Ministry of Health, Ms. Lindiwe Mpofu, has warned that overindulgence of energy drinks could lead to a variety of illnesses. She emphasized that while they have not investigated the extent of energy drink consumption in the country, they have received reports suggesting that the consumption of energy drinks is widespread and that it is a matter of concern. Ms. Mpofu shared the dangers of energy drinks in an interview with BTV News.
25% of consumers worldwide are reported to consume energy drinks, and there are claims that such drinks improve brain function and help give the fatigued a much-needed boost. However, the Ministry of Health says they are concerned about the growing popularity of these drinks in Botswana because excess consumption could pose a health hazard to consumers.
Because of the high sugar content, I mentioned earlier that one can have obesity. And we know that obesity leads to, it's a predisposition to other illnesses. There you go, your diabetes, your hypertension, and if you have a mix of all of these things, you have what we call syndrome X, such that you have the other effects that come about from having diabetes and hypertension all mixed together. So you have your dyslipidemias, you have your heart problems, you have your kidney problems.
Ms. Mpofu shared that in some cases, overuse of energy drinks can be lethal.
Because of the composition of the energy drinks, the high content of caffeine, okay, and the other stimulants that are put in there, you will realize that overstimulating your system can be detrimental. For instance, if you belong to a population that already has heart problems, for example, the caffeine actually is a stimulant that can lead your heart to have some arrhythmias, so irregular heartbeats. You can realize that it can be lethal in that instance.
Some vendors have confirmed the popularity of these drinks. The ministry has emphasized that the public needs to consume these drinks in moderation to help prevent any health complications. Solofalo Tombale, BTV News, Gaborone.
The City of Francistown Mayor, Mr. Godisang Radisiro, has urged artists to use their talent to improve their economic status and also create employment for others. He said this during the DBS roadshow held in Francistown recently, highlighting that the government continues to motivate artists by funding them to produce work that is of international standard. Abigail Madorobo.
Art is slowly being seen as a skill one can make a living from. The roadshow on its second inception is not just a competition, but is an opportunity to nurture and revive the talent which for some people was never really given an opportunity to blossom.
This creative industry, it's a huge industry. They look for higher nature was who are unemployment more Francistown and within Francistown and that Lumona Hatsi,
Upcoming artists were encouraged to do their work with passion and determination for them to achieve their dreams and goals.
To have a goal, to know the goal, for Bereka towards that goal.
Artists graced the event. Once the roadshow ends, the best artists will walk away with a brand new VW Polo, and also they will be given a chance to record their work in the studio for free. Abigail Madorobo, BTV News, Francistown.
Moleponele Principal Magistrate Gabetso Majuta this morning ruled that the bail hearing for the accused person, Mr. Bakang Masole, who is facing 2 counts of murder and robbery, be postponed to a later date. The ruling came as a result of the unavailability of the magistrate presiding over the case. Jessica Pilani with the details.
The 23-year-old Bakang Masole appeared for the 4th time this morning before Moleponele Magistrate Court. Masole is accused of murdering a Moleponele taxi driver, Mr. Penyo Jacoba, on November 9th last year. He is also charged with robbing and retaining Jacoba's blue Honda Fit, valued at 40,000 pula. However, prosecutor Pascal Muhandu from the DPP proposed to court to postpone the bail hearing to a later date to allow the substantive magistrate to be back to duty. On the other hand, remand, Maswale pleaded with court to not set a far date for his bail hearing, therefore leading to Magistrate Majuda ruling that the accused be further remanded in custody and to appear for bail hearing on the 5th of March this year. The brutal killing of Penyo Jacoba caused public riots in Mulepolole last year. Jessica Pilani, BTV News, Mulepolole.
The chairperson of Palape Sub-Land Board, Mr. Dean Serumula, says the allocation of land in Topisi is progressing well. Mr. Serumula says the current season of allocation, they have managed to allocate over 500 plots thus far. Love more, Mario.
These are some of the residents who turned out in large numbers for the interviews regarding the plots they have applied for in Topisi village. The chairperson of Palape Sub-Land Board states that their goal is to allocate 1,500 plots, and they have already allocated over 500 plots.
So far, we 545 plots. They rejected around 70 or 70 plus, and then Babas are turning up back also. Se sengwe se re se lemogang ko gore motho ta ba applyela Palape a ba applyela Topisi a ba applyela Letšeng ha o sena go mma o ta ba re ke busa sa kwano ke emetse sa ko Palape.
Some successful applicants who have been waiting for 20 years expressed that their lives will change significantly now that they have been allocated plots.
I think I got 204. 2024 it's almost 20 years I guess I force me ka bokutshwana ra ke itumetse go ke bone setsa me kuta me gona a ke tsere ka describe ka tselentseng ya ke itumetse ke sala ke phaketse go tswa ga boroni
ke tswa ko Serowe ke sala ke apply sister sa ka 2011 hey di bone go Serowe ke be ke hela ke bona gore ke applyele ko Topisi gongwe ke ta bewa ka bonako me tsatsi le ke le ke itumetse ke beilwe setsha mo Topisi ke a go aga mo go sone ke nna mo go sone.
The Village Development Committee in Topis is expected to attract various developments.
Re tla itumeletse gore motho wa rona o ta bo gola o ta na ditamelo tsa puso tse di tlhokang dipalo tsa batho tse di go godimo rra re letsa metsi le ditsela mo ditsentsweng tse di shatse ka gore ha go sena ditsela le one metsi go ditsentsweng tseo dithabollo di a go nna bonya raetso.
The government has set a target to allocate 100,000 plots before the end of this financial year, including those in Topis. Palape Sub-Land Board say they have set a target of allocating more than 4,000 plots before the end of financial year. Love more Mario, BTV News, Topisi.
It is time for sports with Ntabogan Sebetlela. Ntabo.
Hello, Komos. How are you?
Ma'am?
I'm okay.
You are the Minister of Finance. I did see that.
You know, I have a dream to be. Thank you very much. Tonight, Sports News follows with me in Tabogan Sebetlela. The senior women's national football team, the MAS, arrived safely in Turkey earlier this morning for a training camp scheduled from the 18th to 29th of this month. The team is accompanied by 19 officials. The 22 women's squad is expected to commence their extensive training tomorrow, which will be focused on the physical and technical aspects of the game. Among other activities scheduled for the camp is the Atalia tournament, where the MES are expected to have friendly matches with European and Asian women's football teams. The team will rest today and start their first session tomorrow.
The team arrived well in Antalya. We will be based for the next 12 days. The last group arrived in, I think, midday today, so we are going to have the afternoon off and have our first training session tomorrow. in preparation for our Friday match. I think it's a bit cold this side, but not very cold. I don't think we're going to have a problem with it. We should be okay. With the games, we're expecting tough competition from other teams, but obviously, like we've said when we left home, these games we are going to use them to prepare for the major tournament that we're going to play this year, and also to give other players a chance and to see what we can improve and maintain in our game model. We have 23 players. We have players joining us from under 20. We are also looking to introduce them in the team. There are also, some of them are future players and some of them are ready to play. So we're just going to give them a chance and see where we can improve them and see what is it that they can bring to the team and how we can adjust to accommodate them. I think I will have more to say after maybe our first game or after our first training sessions. But so far the reception is good. The hotel where we are staying is very good. We are happy with our accommodation, and like I said, today the players are resting. Tomorrow we are having our first training session.
BOTSWANA Athletics Association Vice President Technical Wabona Tezo says they will not be sending all athletes who have qualified for the 2023 Africa Games built for the 8th next month, as they are given a quota of 18 athletes, citing lack of funds as a challenge. Tezo highlighted this at the last BOTSWANA BAA Top 16 Track and Field Series in Gaborone. Lead Poloko with more.
BOTSWANA Athletics Association has been hosting track and field series to help athletes prepare and qualify for several major events in 2024, including the 2024 Africa Games and ultimately the Paris 2024 Olympics. However, BAA Vice President Technical Wabona Tezo says despite successfully hosting the events, which saw more than 25 athletes qualify for African Games, they will not be sending all of them, limited to 18 athletes as per request by Botswana National Sports Commission, mainly due to budgetary constraints.
Well, the criteria ke bona gore bana sentse ba qualify ba rank at the end of the day. Mina ratsa tshwetso le committee ya BAA gore ba se ba qualify di Olympics ba se ba taboga di flat races ka gore go direng jalo gongwe ka tloga re ba lapisa kana go le gore ba sone ba lape ka yone ba go taboga only the relays me ra ka rile quota ya 18 yana go sa re gore mo go sone ke gore go affect quota ya 18 go ra gona le 18 o tla ba qualify without the 5 first qualify, and then that 5 be added to 18 yole ba tsama ka team e entseng yalo. So bona re ula bona ke go taboga relay ka gore ngwa itse re le ya rona e sentse e se gona gore e qualify, so re ba tsela tala specifically for the relay.
Tezo further highlighted that they are doing all they can to manage and protect athletes from overtraining themselves with the long season ahead.
Ka December ne ra kopana le di coaches VP sports development re ke go kopana le bone. Mene ba loga moalo wa gore ba go toka tselentsi this season me kana season ya ntse tsweletse go na le adjustments ha le hale ke tsona ke gore bana ba se ba taba ga di event tse dintsintsi because ultimate goal look at ke di Olympics botlo ya teng kana ke bona gore ma ha tsala ngarte be re compete le bone bana ba restile a tsa America tsa bo Europe ba sentse ba le mo indoor, so wa ra ba se ba tsene mo outdoor season so rena ra go pika earlier e be tla re gongwe professor na le be wa ra kwa tlase be tla re pika gape, so bona ba pika ga one mo season e and ha se ba go major championshiping ba tsaba ka tselentse le gore ba pikile mme re tsa gore we will advise the coaches le bona gore ba se ba le ka madi ba lebelele kganya longevity ya the athlete, because ha gongwe ha taba ga o le lekile madi the athlete ga ka lasta a ka se ka dira madi a mantsi mo botshelong jwa gagwe e le gore we just want to do a short term program le gore ke mo ngwana dira madi be le kgatso.
The 13th edition of Africa Games are scheduled from the 8th to the 23rd of this month in Accra, Ghana. Leader Poloko, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
And now in the ongoing Orange FA Cup Season 5 games, VTM Football Club thrashed Matebele FC 3-0 yesterday in a match played at the VTM Arena. Budulo Mohorosi.
VTM took control of the game early in the first half, dictating terms until they took the lead in the 28 minutes through Lesego Motlhabang. In the second half, Kukanzo pushed hard for an equalizer, but were unlucky as Bogosinfila scored against the run of play to give VTM a 2-0 lead on the 63rd minute. Bogosengfila returned to haunt the Matebele rearguard after 5 minutes, scoring the third goal to give VTM a convincing 3-0 victory.
I told my boys to say I played them when I was with Holy Ghost, okay? I knew to say they're not good at passing the ball, okay? If we keep the ball, then we're going to hammer them. They are good at area balls. But even them, there are chances also, especially last 15 minutes, that could even equalize, okay?
Yeah, it's a game where we were second best to all the battles within one duels. We were second best in everything. We didn't attack the box. We didn't use our width. It's a game I thought we could have done better if you look at it. But well, when you don't when you don't win individual duels, you don't win football matches. And today we're very, very poor in terms of winning individual duels.
In other Orange FA Cup games played yesterday, Notwane defeated Santos 2-0, while Muchudi Center Chiefs defeated Magosi 1-0. Bodulo Mohoros, BTV Sport, VTM Arena.
And our lastly, security systems winner Masego Koboto scored a hat-trick to secure a 4-0 victory over Big Sisters in Gaborone Regional Football Division 1 game played yesterday at Likiti Football Center in Gaborone. Tlamelo Munsusi reports.
Security Systems, who went into this fixture in the back of a 3-games winning streak, especially the 9-0 drubbing of FC Ambassadors in their last league game, found the back of the net in the 19th minute, courtesy of Masego Koboto after a sublime assist from Bamenganda. Bamenganda and Masego Koboto's combination proved too strong for Big Sisters' defense, as Koboto scored a second goal from Nganda's assist in the stroke of half-time. After the break, Koboto secured a hat-trick thanks to another Nganda's assist. Koboto returned the favor 15 minutes later with an assist for Nganda to give the Alarm Girls a healthy 4-0 lead. In the 85th minute, Systems Ruba Mandinto was given a red card for violent behavior, but that did not change the course of the game as it ended 4-0 in favor of Security Systems.
Technically, we're better than them, and as well the technique were good. The physical aspect of our players, we were able to win many duels, and it worked for us because first half they tried to play some kind of a low block. We were able to penetrate because we have got very good midfielders that are able or that can be able to play penetrating passes. That's the way we killed them.
Didn't prepare as we expected because of work commitments and school commitments, but the girls played. They played. I didn't expect them to play like they did. I'm not impressed, but also impressed at the same time because I didn't expect to see this kind of results. But they did well. They did well.
In another Division 1 fixture, Prisons Ladies played to a 2-2 draw with FC Ambassadors. Tlamelo Munswisi, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
From our sports desk, that's all we had for you this night, until we meet again tomorrow same time. Now back to Khomozo to remind us of the backheads.
And your news, your sports news, the Mesa in Turkey, a squad of 23 and 19 officials. A team of 23 players and 19 officials.
Yeah.
Do we know what the officials are there for? I mean, the roles, that designated roles.
No, I'm hoping tomorrow probably get a feedback from Banda, one of BTV Sports reporters. Banda, he's with them there. So
is he
I'm
part
hoping...
of the 19
So no, honestly, I think we really have to understand what are the roles of the 19 officials for the training camp. So I think it is interesting to develop the story further.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, even the ratio 19-23, I'm struggling here, but of course maybe it's things that obviously with limited knowledge and a bit of ignorance, I'm sure you will tell us as the days progress.
Or maybe BFA, like they're trying to improve women. I don't know. Probably we don't know. Maybe doctors are there.
Yeah, but the maths and mathing, but we shall see. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Komoto.
That was Ntabogang Sebatlela giving us the latest in sports. Let's take a final look at stories leading the way this evening. SADC region lagging behind in promotion of regional integration. Siliwe Pigwe Citrus Farm to have its first ever harvest next month. And in sports, Botswana Athletics Association said not to be able to send all qualified athletes to the All Africa Games. That's all that we had for you in our news bulletin this evening. BTV News, Ikanya Rona, #BW Mindset Change.